How's it going everyone, my name is BAYZY and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about the Darkest Night feature and how it could be improved in future updates. I've seen this feature has had positive reviews from the community and there has been some suggestions on how to edit things to make the Darkest Night feature much more enjoyable and more immersive for the player base. If I don't mention a suggestion in which you possibly have, do comment down below and I will check them out and I will pass them on to the community managers. Of course I will be sending this video off to the community manager as well, talking to Ubisoft about it and some of the other community managers that I can discuss within Delta Company. So remember to comment down below, get your suggestions in. General opinion which I've been seeing thrown around is that the enemy detects you too quick in the Darkest Night mode. I completely agree. I feel like this needs to be toned down. If you're wearing full black for example and you're in the Darkest Night mode, enemies shouldn't be able to see you like they can in the day. The night should act as a way of covering you, which makes night operations more purposeful and makes players want to play in the night instead of constantly being detected if it was within the light, and how it is currently where you get detected quite quickly. So that's the first suggestion, in which is basically making the NPC's detection more affected by their lack of vision instead of how it currently is where they detect you quite quickly, just like if it was within the daytime. But moving on, the next one should be AI teammates should put down their NVGs. Now this isn't a thing just for this update, title update 3.0.3. It is a general thing which has been the case ever since the AI teammates came July. It's one of those minor things in which should be added but hasn't been added so far. It's kind of like the photo mode NVGs where you can't have your NVGs down when you're within photo mode because it automatically flips up. There was a way around this and there was a glitch around this quite a few months ago, but it isn't a stable feature which was within the game and it still isn't, and I believe this should be within the game. And I brought this from a community suggestion and obviously I've elaborated on it there a little bit, but in general AI teammates should have their NVGs down when you put them down, and I believe that connection with the photo mode thing should also be resolved as well, because obviously that has been a suggested thing for absolutely donkeys now. So fingers crossed they do make minor adjustments like that. That might not be main features, but they are features in which will add to the experience of the player base and I guess make people enjoy the game more, because there is more features like that in which seem a little bit more realistic, and which is where the enjoyment of playing a Ghost Recon game comes from. That realism, that tactical immersion truly helps with your enjoyment of playing the game. Flashlights are another thing which I've seen mentioned plenty of times on the Reddit, on the forums, on Twitter, and I for one think it is a needed feature. Whether it's equipped to your weapon or it's equipped to your body, I don't mind. I think flashlights need to be within the game. The lights on the Sentinel soldiers aren't connected to their weapons, but instead are put on their vests, which is a viable option for the Ubisoft team to add to the player. Of course this would mean that the beam will naturally follow the direction the body is facing. I think the only issue behind having the light based on the weapon is that it will be more difficult to recode to constantly follow the motion of the weapon. So if it was on the vest, it would possibly maybe auto activate when you bring the weapon up or something like that. But another thing which they also have to consider is how much the beam illuminate the surrounding and how large is the overall beam at a differing distance. But overall it's generally a feature that needs to be added, and it needs to be added within the next update if they can get it done by then. They already know about this feature and I will be letting them know about how much I really want it within the game, especially with this Darkest Night feature getting added to the game. So before I get onto the last one, I just want to slot in there that there should also be night cycles within the game. There should be a full moon cycle which would allow you to track details such as how many days you've been on the island, maybe the different phases of the moon has different brightnesses, and that should impact the stealth parameters depending on how Darkest Night mode is. And of course that is only a small feature and it's only been mentioned probably once or twice on the forums. But it's one of those mini features in which would be pretty cool. But moving on to my last one, in which would be NVG improvements. A thing which should have been improved soon after the launch of the game, I would have thought. But due to this Darkest Nights feature, kind of amplifies the fact that the NVGs need to be improved compared to the likes of Wildlands, for example, in which the NVGs were much better than Breakpoint, let's say. They weren't as blurry and they were a little bit more clear when it came to being able to see your enemies and just the environment around you. So I think improving them NVGs, I think, is probably very important, to be honest, for the next Ghost Experience update. Whether the next update is going to be another Ghost Experience update, or whether it's going to maybe be the content update, anything like that, or maybe the next update is going to be that 3.1, which we'll be getting probably in early January. I'm really unsure, but I think the NVGs being updated and better should be one of those items at the top of their list to be able to get on par with the fact that they've added a Darkest Night setting in the game now. Do tell me down below what you think of these different features and different suggestions, I guess. Of course, they have came from the community, but I think all these things should come to the game, whether it be in the updates that are coming soon, or whether it be a little bit further down the line and them focusing on certain things before others. But that is all for the video. I do hope you have enjoyed. Do hit the subscribe button if you aren't already, and hit that like button. It is really appreciated. Thanks for all the support on the channel recently. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.